Hi, I'm Fred DeRuvo, and you're tuned in to Truth Trends, where we address issues that are happening now, politically, socially, and morally. Thanks for joining us. Let's talk. Hey, everybody. This is Dr. Fred. You're listening to another Truth Trends rant. Before we get into our main topic, I want to try and share a few things that are actually comical. I want to get out there a little bit of, irony. Irony would be good. This morning, I stopped at Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America on Facebook, and I read some of the most asinine things I've read in a long while. The way these people twist the truth, ignore the truth, delete the truth, present falsehoods as truth is just mind-boggling. But I love some of the replies even more. And by the way, I posted my sentiments on a number of areas, and now I notice that I can't post anymore. Gee, isn't that a shame? They have one that I think is rather hilarious. They have a picture of a guy. Why is Kroger? And Kroger, for those of you who don't live in the area where Kroger's exist, is a grocery store. Why is Kroger allowing this? This man open carried his firearm last week inside a Kentucky Kroger store. Oh my God. So I called Kroger a number of weeks ago because I wanted to find out exactly whether or not they were going to give in to Moms Demand Action like Panera Bread, Starbucks, and a few other places. And they basically told me that what they're doing is simply deferring to the local, state, and city and county laws. That's what they're deferring to. They are deferring to. So here's the problem. Here's this gentleman on their page, and basically he is open carrying. And apparently because of that, that creates such a stir, such a fright, such a panic with people who have no clue that this shouldn't be happening. It should be outlawed. A few stories down, pardon me, it just gives me gas when I think about all the garbage from people like Moms Demand Action. Now, not too far below that on their feed, they have this story. Another armed robbery at Kroger. This man robbed a bank inside a Cincinnati area Kroger yesterday. Police saw, and they have a picture of him. Apparently he used a weapon, et cetera, et cetera. He was brandishing a semi-automatic handgun. Well, I guess their rationale is if Kroger would just have a common sense, no gun policy, gun-free zone, then this particular individual, who happens to be a criminal, and I'm willing to bet this is not the first time that he has done this. I mean, he's walking in with an umbrella. He's got a skeletal. He's got a hoodie, a black hoodie, the one like Trayvon Martin or whatever his name is wore. But the hoodie means nothing, really. But you can't see his face. He's got gloves on. You can't see his hands. You can barely see his eyes. He was brandishing a weapon. Well, gee, here's what I said. Yep, I'm sure that if Kroger had a gun-free zone policy, this guy would have never even considered robbing a Kroger's, right? He would not have dared to bring a gun into Kroger's because the policy says no guns. We all know how law-abiding criminals can be. The asinine lack of sobriety with the people, Moms Demand Action. It's just ridiculous. I love some of the places, some of the people. One guy writes, "Get a life, ladies." Another person writes, something like, what did they say? Oh my goodness. I can't find it. Sorry, but it's something to do with the amount of idiocy on this page is astounding. And it's true, but you'll never convince them. Why? Well, for one thing, Shannon Watts is being paid very well by Bloomberg and his millions of dollars that he's poured into Moms Demand Action, and because of that, she's probably willing to say anything. In a sense, she's really kind of, I hate to use the word, hoard herself out to Bloomberg and his dollars. But this is not really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about something else. I'm going to talk about the Ebola fear, the Ebola situation that keeps coming up. But what's so funny about it is that, is it really a situation? It's almost like the government is trying so hard to make Ebola into some kind of epidemic, and it keeps stalling. If you go to fortruthsake.com, you'll read a wonderful article by Jana B about a guy who was arrested at his home because earlier in the day he had made a joke at a casino where, I forget, he either worked at or was there gambling, about his wife having Ebola. Oh my gosh, it caused such a panic. They had to shut down part of the casino. So he was arrested for inciting panic, among other things, and loss of revenue, et cetera, et cetera. $10,000 bail for the poor guy. Well, here's the reality on that one. I find it fascinating that they do that, but yet the protesters in Ferguson, who can not only threaten to do illegal things, but actually do illegal things, nothing happens to them. I can't understand why that is. Can you? I'm thinking it has to be because somebody's looking the other way. Somebody in law enforcement is looking the other way. And I'm not saying it's the local law enforcement. I'm thinking higher up. What do you think? Ebola is a problem. But the problem was best left in Africa, and instead of leaving well enough alone and trying to help people there, our illustrious President Obama decided that we need to start shipping in these people who are infected. So we ship them into Atlanta. We ship them into Dallas. One person dies. Another person is infected, hasn't died yet. Now I understand there's a second victim of Ebola in Dallas. You know, things just aren't spreading as quickly as they ought to be, I think. In the world, are you aware that up to 500,000 people every year throughout the world die of the flu? They die of the flu. I don't hear anybody claiming epidemic, pandemic. Oh, what are we going to do? Quarantine everybody. They die of the flu. In America, roughly 36,000 people die every year of the flu. Ebola? We've had a few thousand die in Africa. We've had a couple die in the United States. More people are infected. And it seems to me that something's really wrong when we're willing to send our non-medical military troops to Africa. I wonder what purpose that is for. Oh, wait a minute. They've been having problems with diamond mine workers there since last year and before. As a matter of fact, in 2013, African troops had to fire on and kill striking diamond mine workers. The diamond mines don't run themselves. We need cheap labor. Yep, and we need to do cavity searches on these people because God forbid they take a diamond in the rough and shove it up their rear end so they can get it out later on and try to sell it so that they can live reasonably decently instead of just taking the few penny scraps that they get from the people who own these diamond mines so that the rich can look all coiffed and beautiful throughout the world. I think it has something to do with the diamond mines because otherwise, why would we be sending 2,000 to 4,000 troops there? What else are they going to do? Oh, they could be ready so that when a vaccine is prepared and available for Ebola, maybe they'll be on hand to force people to take it. Look, folks, the Ebola virus is not what it seems. You can think whatever you like, but the Ebola virus is not what it seems. Could very well be Mr. Obama's October surprise. Anything can happen. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I know that I'm not going to be taking any vaccine related to Ebola. I took no vaccine with the swine flu. I took no vaccine with the avian flu, the H1N1, Z3000 flu, whatever it was. I take no vaccine for flu. I've not gotten sick. Maybe we need to stop fearing the things that the government says is going to kill us and wonder why these things are breaking out. Well, these are my thoughts. I'll be back with more. This is Dr. Fred from fortruthsake.com. And listen to Truth Trends Radio every week. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you next time. Stay healthy. Ask questions. Think for yourself. You've been listening to Truth Trends with your host, Fred DeRuvo. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with more issues that affect you next time. Join us then.